Hi everyone. We're live for today's meet, and we have so many people on the call with us. We have Jessica, we have Pragya, who are our speakers, and then the whole InfoSec Girls India we have on the show, and we have Asta from US also. So let's go ahead one by one. We'll start off with Jessica, and then we'll do the round of introduction so that everyone gets to know who's the leader of which city.
Okay,
Please go
wonderful.
ahead.
Yes, my name is Jessica Robinson. I am CEO of PurePoint International. I work as a virtual CISO with companies, and I am based out of New York City. So I am a part of that InfoSec Girls community.
Great. Ashwini.
Hi everyone, my name is Ashwini and I am the InfoSec Girls chapter leader for Mumbai region, and I'm working as a senior security analyst with Not So Secure. Apart from this, if I have to keep it short, I would say my journey so far with InfoSec Girls has been amazing, and I'm really looking forward to more sessions and even the local meets. I hope everything gets resolved soon. So yes, that is it.
Yeah. Asta.
Hi, Jessica.
Hi, Asa.
Yeah, Jessica knows me. We have met multiple of times, and I came here like last year, and before that, I was in India. So I came to New York City, and I met, I think, Jessica 6 months before. So I'm here working as a cybersecurity researcher and instructor in New York City for lifers in Flatiron School. And it's lovely seeing Jessica here. I'm so excited for her today.
Wonderful, thank you. Yeah, thanks for inviting me to be on. Yeah, and thank you, Vandana, as well.
Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us today. Aarti.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi everyone. This is Aarti and I am InfoSec Girls Lead for Delhi region. Right now I'm pursuing my master's, but before that I was working as Information Security Manager at TCS for 2 years. And I'm very happy to meet you all.
That's really great. So then we have Shreya.
Hello everyone, this is Shreya Pohekar and I'm the chapter lead of InfosecGirls Bhopal, and currently I'm pursuing my BE in Computer Science and Engineering, and yeah, glad to meet you all.
We have Namrata.
Hi everyone, this is Namrata. I am an InfoSec Girl chapter leader in Gujarat, and I am a cybercrime investigator in SCRB, and I am a trainer too. Nice to meet you, everyone.
Great.
Yeah. Then we have Saman.
Hi everyone, I am Saman Fatima, and I am the co-lead for Delhi chapter for InfoSec Girls, and it's really amazing to be part of this community, and welcome to you, Jessica and Pragya, and good luck. Thank you, everyone.
We have Shivani.
Hi Jessica, hi everyone. My name is Shivani. I am the chapter leader for Hyderabad. I work as an information security project manager for a very small startup company and got in touch with Vandana through LinkedIn, and I'm contributing to this wonderful program of InfoSec Girls. And I really look forward to all the sessions and the seminars that we are going to host and we are hosting right now. It is a wonderful experience.
Okay, wonderful.
Thank you. So she's one of the chapter leaders for Hyderabad.
Yes.
Okay, wonderful.
And we have Shruti Rupa.
Hello everyone. Hi Jessica and Pragya. I am Shruti Rupa. I am InfoSec Girls chapter lead for Pune, and I'm working as a web application security analyst in Qualys. And I'm super excited about all the virtual events that is going on, because it is fun to be at home and then connecting to you, everyone. We are still on the same picture. Fun. We don't have to go out, but we need to do that sometimes.
Yeah.
Fun. All the best to Jessica and Pragya.
Great.
Thank
Now
you.
we have Pragya.
Hi, I'm Pragya, and I'm working at Lucidius Technologies since a few months. Earlier, I was working somewhere else. So I've been in this field since close to 2 years, and I work in web application assessments. Earlier, I was in network. So I've decided to give session on one of my favorite topics today. And it's great to connect with all of you, and thank you so much.
Thank you. So, hi everyone. I'm Vandana. I am one of the chapter leaders for InfoSec Girls, and we are all getting together. And we wanted to welcome both of you, Pragya and Jessica. So we thought, okay, let's have a grand welcome from all the chapters in India and across.
Love
So
it.
that's why we are.
Great, great.
So over to you, Jessica. We will start off with your session now,
Okay.
and we'll take it forward from there.
Okay, thanks. And so just do you be able to help me out and kind of go through the presentation, I guess, for me or with me? So I won't share my screen, but is it possible to pull it up on your screen to share it? And then I'll just kind of say next or go for the presentation. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Just
Okay.
1 minute and let me pull it through.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay. Yes, I am on my phone, so it makes it a little bit more challenging for me to share the presentation.
Yes, I understand. I understand.
Yeah. So
just a minute and it's opening.
As we're all in information security and we all know the importance of backups and all of that, I've had the experience of my main laptop needing a very small piece. I need to have an additional piece for my laptop to charge. And all of that, my laptop completely stopped charging right as this was starting. So I ordered the piece, but the piece hasn't arrived. So I'm on my backup laptop, which sometimes has latency issues. So I've had to kind of think about different ways to be able to do things like this.
Yeah, agreed. That happens.
Yeah.
Great. So we have the presentation open. You just let me know the next, or we are moving on ahead with the next piece, and I'll just move it away.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you. So it is wonderful to be here with all of you to be able to have this discussion today. I think one of the things that I know that I've experienced, and I'm sure all of you are experiencing as well, is what's going on right now with COVID-19 is really hard and it's really challenging. I know people that have completely lost their own businesses. They have they literally have $0 in the bank account right now. I was just talking to someone the other day, and it looks different in different parts of the world, and also here in different parts of this country in the United States, but I'm also sure different parts of India. You know, this we'll talk about today, and all of you are, from what I can hear, are employed, and I'm so glad to hear that. But we're gonna just spend some time today really talking about, if you know people that are challenged, or as people are kind of chiming into this live stream, what they can do if they do find themselves looking for a position. I actually have a call with someone on Monday who's extremely skilled, great experience, but he's looking for a job. So looking forward to sharing this information with you today. Next. So we'll dive in first into the current state of where we are with the jobs market and cybersecurity to this day. So literally April 4th, 2020. And then we're just going to go down a list of 10 things that you guys can do and that you can share with other people to do. So the expectation and thought of this presentation is everyone should leave here today with something actionable to do. Even if you're, think in a job you love, these are things that you can still think of as you think about your career path going forward. I also have these icons here as just kind of hints for you. So the camera icon is, if you're watching this, let's say you're watching this on YouTube, even 2 weeks from today, a month from today, this is an image or this is a slide where you're going to want to take a picture. Okay, because this is actionable information that I am saying to you. If I was with you, this is what you should be doing. Or this is information that you should be taking in right now. Now, if you see the social media slide or the social media icons for Twitter and LinkedIn, what that means is I will post follow-up information in regards to this particular slide on these channels. So make sure that you follow me there, and you can see my handle at the bottom of the screen on the bottom right, Jess Robin 96. So we can go ahead and get started. Next. So just a little bit about who I am. I kind of briefly went through that initially, but I think the key information here is that I completely understand what it means like to be in a position where you're like, where's my next job going to come from? When I graduated from grad school, I moved from Pittsburgh, because I attended the University of Pittsburgh for grad school. I moved to DC. And when I did that, I was, extremely excited about starting my career. But here I was, literally 8 months later, where I applied for nearly 200 jobs, in fact, over 200 jobs, and I was still technically unemployed. Now, I was interning, and interning is always great, but you know how it is. When you're ready to get out into the job market, it's like, I want that job. And I know what it's like when people are saying, oh, you don't have this experience, or you don't have enough experience doing that. And it's really hard when you're just getting out of school going, of course I don't have this experience. This is what I'm trying to get. But I also recognize it can be really hard when you've had experience for a number of years and you're going, hey, I really want to do this type of work, but maybe you haven't directly done all of the different things that a position is asking you for. So I'm coming at you not just from someone who is, coming at you from a security expert to say, hey, this is what my skill sets are, this is what I've done, or I have a company and this is what I've done in my company, and these are the clients I work with. I'm coming at you today as just a human being saying, I know what it's like when you're looking for a position in the job market and you really want to find that job you love, but it's super challenging. And so that really is the grounding point for today's conversation. Next. So the current state of the cybersecurity job market, and this was posted by Deidre Diamond on LinkedIn either yesterday or the day before. So if she's someone that you don't know and you're not following her, then I would suggest you follow her. She is a recruiter in the cybersecurity industry. Now, one of the things that I definitely want to make sure that I say right now also is that these metrics are, I would say that they're probably reflective of the global industry. However, I'm sure that these metrics are particular to the United States. The things that I say today, though I may give examples from the United States, I do think that these are applicable to different parts of the world. So whether you're in India or whether you're in somewhere in Europe, if you're in Africa, I do think that not everything may 100% mesh, but a lot of this will. So 70% of businesses have put all jobs on hold as of 2 weeks ago. This probably isn't a surprise. Layoff for cybersecurity professionals have not been greater than 1%. I truly do believe that. I can't say that I know someone who's lost a job, but I'm recognizing the fact that there are startups, that there are smaller companies, that there are small businesses that may be in a position where they feel that they've maybe had to make different decisions around maybe at least workforce reduction in this area. I think it's safe to say for any company right now, which are all companies that are working from home virtually and have had to do that, your IT and your cybersecurity person are kind of those key people that you need right now. But nonetheless, this is possible that this has definitely happened within different organizations globally and across different industries. 30% of the market is moving forward with interviewing. So let's say you're going through an interviewing process with an organization. It's still possible you're going to be interviewing for that role. It just may take a little bit longer. And let's say you have already gone through the interview process, and let's say you've been offered a position, but now we're all of a sudden in this state of flux, and you're like, hey, I've been offered the job, I just want to get started. It's possible that your starting dates can be pushed back, but it doesn't mean necessarily right now that you'll lose your role. And we'll talk a little bit about that more on the next slide. Next. So these are job postings that I saw that came out just this week alone. So there's no doubt that people are hiring for cybersecurity roles. Now, again, this is particular to the United States. I didn't see necessarily job postings for other parts of the world, but that doesn't mean it's not happening. So I would encourage you to follow recruiters in your country, in your local area. I would encourage you to look at jobs in your local area if this is something that you're interested in doing. It doesn't matter where you are. If you're in Argentina, Bangladesh, it doesn't matter. Next. Here are two other people that were posting about jobs. And as you can see, the last slide listed a number of different technical roles, which were really quite amazing. But also on this slide, what I want to point out is that on the right side of the screen with these roles is that the one on the right side isn't necessarily a technical role. They're looking for someone to help with proposal development. So I wanted to share this to say two things. One, if you have technical experience and you're looking for a technical role, I think that puts you at a tremendous advantage to get a job if you're looking for a job in the market today. However, let's say you're passionate about cybersecurity, you're not super technical, but you're like, hey, this is what I do. I want to get into the industry. Or because I'm non-technical, I was part of that 1% that was let go, but I'm in the cybersecurity industry. Hey, someone's hiring, they're looking for you right now, right? And I'm sure this isn't the only company, and there are other positions. So just, be mindful of that there are opportunities out there. Just keep looking. It may be hard to find. And also they may just take a little bit longer right now throughout the process of hiring, but people are hiring when it comes to cybersecurity. Next. Okay, so what should you do right now at this point today? Stay positive. That's the most important thing. Your mindset is incredibly important. Don't go down a rabbit hole of all the negative things that can happen right now, even if you are that person that has zero money in the bank account. And I'm talking about people that are in other industries that I know that have been severely impacted by restaurant industry, travel industry, people that are closing their restaurants, people that are in the event industry. I mean, people are truly in a lot of pain right now. So maybe just expressing some gratitude that you're in an industry that really has, for the most part, not been severely impacted, particularly the way some of these other industries have been impacted. And then the next thing is we're going to go through 10 things today that you absolutely should be doing right now. And it was very specific to include these 10 things because they're actionable things that you can do to actually move the needle if you want a job today. And these are things that literally you could start doing as you are watching this webinar, or you could start it immediately after you get off this webinar. Next. So again, I want to be able to state that these are things, and I've already given examples from the United States, but because this is a global organization, I do believe that everything that I'm saying, for the most part, if anything, at least 90% of what I'm saying is adaptable to any country and actually any industry. So even if you are in the restaurant industry or travel industry, I do think that there are ways where you can take some of those skill sets and maybe take them to another industry and provide value. So just come from that mindset today as we go through these 10 steps. Next. Okay, so again, believe in yourself. You can do this. I think that the most important thing that I've learned in really just life itself, but also in building my own business, is believing in myself. There's no way that I can be where I am today and working with clients that I love, working with people that I love, and doing work that just is satisfying, doing work that I truly believe I'm meant to be doing in the world if I didn't believe in myself in order to do it. And so if you truly believe that you can provide for your family, that you can take your skill sets and you can add value to people, industries and companies, then you can get through this challenge, okay? So be mindful of your thoughts. Next. So next is, if you actually did experience a job loss. So let's say you are part of this, this small percentage of people that have actually lost a job, or you know people that have. What I can tell you is that in the United States, there are government initiatives right now to help people stay on payroll. So right now, companies that have been severely impacted, including small businesses, are applying for loans from the government to be able to specifically to pay for payroll, to keep people employed. So the question I have for you are, what initiatives are going on within your country, either from the private sector, from the public sector, from the nonprofit sector, that you can take advantage of? I just posted to a group of people last night that there's a woman who is giving, her name is Sarah Blakely. She's an entrepreneur here in the United States, and she's built her company. Now she has her kind of nonprofit arm, and she's giving $5,000 to small businesses. If you can show her and you can articulate why and how you've been impacted by what's going on now. There are so many different opportunities. What's been incredible is to see the outpouring of love and support be out from people that could just have the opportunity to serve where they are. So look and see what opportunities are available for your organization, and as well as for you. Sometimes unemployment, which is what we have here in the United States, is what people can apply for. So as long as you have money coming in, and I'm stressing this because I know people are really suffering. And again, I understand that may not be everyone who's on like this Zoom call right now, but I know people that are very much suffering and are very concerned about the fact that they do not have either money in the account now, or that they could easily see their bank accounts having zero money. So I really am talking to kind of this extreme here to really ensure that you know that there are things that you can do if you literally just lost something, a job right now. All right, next. All right, and if you one thing, the last thing I'll say about that is if you did lose a job, follow back up with your employer. I do think that's important, because if they were to decide to apply for any assistance that's coming from the government or someplace else, they would be required probably in some way to keep the workforce that they have, at least keep a good portion of them on payroll. So that is really good for you. So now let's just kind of shift a little bit. So what is your ideal role? So many of us are working in our ideal roles. Many of us love the fact that we're in a specific industry that we're in. Maybe we're doing cybersecurity in healthcare, we're doing cybersecurity in technology, we're doing, cybersecurity for a healthcare startup, whatever it happens to be. Is this your ideal role? And are you interested in continuing to do this? Are you interested in career projection where you are? Or are you interested in maybe doing something else in another industry or within another role? Whatever it is, just identify it. All right. Identify what it is that you want to be doing. I think that now is a perfect time for a reset, whether you currently have a job or you've lost a job. Be specific about what it is that you want, and be very clear about how it is that you want to go after it. Now, here are clear growth industries that are taking place right now. And I can say that this is probably pretty global, right? Because this is critical infrastructure in our countries. So if you're in telecommunications, information technology, healthcare, you're the critical people right now out helping to really save and support and help take care of people right now, right? And so it's important that if you're looking for a job, look in these industries. These industries are hiring. Now, is it possible that energy is hiring right now in cybersecurity? Maybe, maybe not, but they are part of critical infrastructure. So the fact that we're all connected right now through technology lets me know that in some way that they are filling cybersecurity roles within that industry. Same with financial services and media. So many people are consuming news right now, right? Watching the news every day, understanding what's going on. These news agencies, they need cybersecurity people. Cleaning services are in such demand right now, right? Now, cleaning services are in demand. Do they have cybersecurity people? Maybe, maybe not. But nonetheless, they are in demand right now. And they probably really want to make sure that their websites are up to date. They probably really want to make sure that they're building trust with the people that they're working with and they don't have issues with payments. So there are so many different things to think about at the intersection of the work that we do in cybersecurity and the absolute need that is going on right now in our culture and our world for these industries and the work that they're providing. So I would encourage you, if you're looking for cybersecurity jobs, and I would also say for those of you that happen to be watching this and you happen to not be in cybersecurity, but you just said, you know what, I'm going to take the extra step and I'm going to actually watch something about jobs because I need a job and it just happens to be cybersecurity related. And I want to maybe know or learn something that I can take from this and then bring it back into my own industry, like travel or restaurants or anything like that. Then these are things you can do. So the next thing I would say is really make sure that you're looking at your timeline. So for some of you, your timeline for working is like right now. So if your timeline for working is right now, then I would say, go look at retail. Go look at places in the United States. We have various lines and chains of popular grocery stores that are doing very well right now. We have companies like Target and Walmart that are doing very well. Walmart is a global company. Now you may be thinking, I may or may not be able to find a cybersecurity job in this area. You may or may not, but if you need a job right now to provide for you or your family, because you need to eat or you just need some, you need to pay for basic supplies, then taking a moment to step outside of your actual role that you're looking for is something to do as well. So just putting that out there. I know that's not always popular, but at the end of the day, sometimes we have to do what we have to do in realistic times. I have no problem stating that when I was starting PurePoint, I was, someone asked me, I was working with someone, she was someone I really respected and really wanted to work with her. And I said, hey, I would love to do cybersecurity with you. And she said, yeah, I don't really feel a need for cybersecurity right now. I said, well, what do you have a need for? She said, marketing. I need a director of marketing. And I thought, you need a director of marketing? I said, well, I'm definitely not a marketer, so I don't know if I can help you. And then I thought, well, wait a minute, you know what? I'm willing to do whatever it takes so that I can make sure that I am, you know, bringing income in, additional income to supplement while I'm building this business. And she's someone I really want to work with. Let me figure this out. So I said to her, you know what? I'll be your director of marketing. And you know what? I was her director of marketing, right? Who would have thought? Me? Like, could you, any of you imagine that you would be a director of marketing? So again, just think differently, think outside the box. If you need something now, so for summer, if you're looking long-term for summer or fall, then hey, okay, so you may have a bit more time. So you can take the time to really look for jobs in cybersecurity, and you can take the time to look for jobs in other areas. But again, be specific about what you want. Next. Okay, so how are you selling your skill sets? So if you're looking at, if you're, you know, updating your resume right now, then great. I'll just say this, that sometimes people send me their resume and they're really proud of their resume, and I don't think their resume is actually very good. So one of the things that I would encourage you all to do, if you're actually looking for a job right now, or even if you're not, just take the time to share your resume with someone. And I don't necessarily, you can share it with a friend, or you can share it with someone who is maybe doesn't know you that well and can give you objective feedback on your resume. I would choose the latter, but you can choose what you would like to do. I think the most important thing is that we look at it. And I think this is also really important if we're looking to get a job, maybe in a different industry, and maybe the industry that we're in maybe has a certain way of doing resumes, or if we're looking to get a job in a different country. So maybe we're moving or something like that. But this is really, really important. I can't stress this enough. So the second thing, your interview skills. Again, brush up on your interview skills. I interview a little bit differently for roles that I have within my organization. And so people, I think, come in with a certain kind of frame or thinking about it, and interviews in general, but I'm not always interested in kind of asking the traditional questions. And a lot of leaders aren't, particularly leaders that are kind of thinking maybe outside the box about how to make an impact in different areas. And I don't necessarily mean just cybersecurity. I'm talking about healthcare, these areas truly that we want to get into, healthcare or technology, media and telecommunications. There are incredible leaders there that just think differently about interviewing. So I would encourage you to brush up on your interview skills. Details matter in all of these cases. So really make sure that you're paying attention to the details on your resume, and paying attention to the details as you're really thinking about the interview process. And it's these details that I'm talking about that people are really moving away from kind of these traditional way of interviewing. So the other thing that I would say is think about who in your network can assist you, and think about what it is that you're even becoming right now, and what are you learning right now, and what do you want to be learning right now. This is a wonderful time to kind of learn some new skill sets. So we'll talk about more of that soon. Next. Next, great, thank you. So the next thing I'll say to you is be flexible. Now, when I say be flexible, I mean, particularly if you're someone who is in need of a job now, and this is something I think, again, can go for any industry. Be open to temping. If someone needs temp work, be willing to take a slightly different role in cybersecurity. Maybe you want to be a pen tester, but you know what? Right now you can't find a pen testing role. So maybe look for a different type of job. Be open to even freelancing. Maybe some of the work that you want to do is available to you, but you actually want to be an employee and you don't want to freelance, or you don't want to be a contractor. Be willing to be flexible. Be willing to do what it takes in order to get the job today. Be willing to take commission-based jobs. Now, this could be a great example for people that want to work for a cybersecurity company, maybe in media or marketing and sales. Maybe this is an opportunity for you to take a commission-based role in the industry that you want to be in, even if you don't have the security of being an employee and having benefits, particularly at a time like this. You know, right now, the time is also to show that your commitment to whatever company it is that you want to be working for. So kind of taking on these, you know, kind of smaller roles or part-time roles can be a great way to build that relationship, so that as things get better, they'll remember you, and then we'll think about bringing you in to be a long-term employee. Next. So the next thing that I'll say is your network is your net worth. Okay. And again, pay attention to the camera icons that are here. You see the camera icon that's right here. And Vandana, can you come on for a second? How's everything going? Are you guys having any trouble hearing me, or is there any kind of latency or any slowness or anything like that? And is everyone doing good? I just want to kind of check in with people to see if this is resonating with you, and to see if maybe anyone has any questions. No? No issues? Okay, Vandana, can you actually go back to that slide? Okay, so yeah, so I just wanted to check in, but since no one's saying anything, I'm assuming we're doing good. Okay, so your network is your network. So you really do want to make sure that you're thinking about who you're connecting with. You want to make sure that you're a part of different information security organizations. You want to make sure that you're actually active in these organizations. You want to make sure that you're connecting to the leaders of these organizations. So for all of you that are kind of watching this via YouTube, and you're maybe watching this from 2 weeks from when it's posted, are you actually involved in InfosecGirls? Do you know the women leaders that are here? Connect with them if you don't. Take the time to actually reach out and meet them. So you also want to make sure that you're connecting with influencers. So by influencers, I mean the people that are leading and are chapter leaders within InfosecGirls. You want to connect with people like Asa. You want to connect with people like Vandana. You want to make sure that even here in the United States, another person that I would say is Nathan Chung. He's someone who also posts and does a lot around jobs and what kind of jobs are open in cybersecurity now, or how to think about transitioning into another area in cybersecurity. Okay, so be sure to connect with these individuals, and make sure that you're building relationships and thinking about different mentors that you've had in the past, and also thinking about if you've had mentees in the past. You know, it really is a 360-degree relationship and partnership when, you know, sometimes, you know, we support mentees, but sometimes they can be supportive to you too when you need it. So don't be shy to reach out to people that you've helped along the way within your career. And also, again, continue to think about who you're becoming and who you're learning. What type of story do you want to tell if you're someone who's really, really struggling and a lot of pain right now, looking for a job or looking to switch industries? What type of story do you want to tell at the end of this? And think about that, and think about also the person that you want to be at the end of this experience. Next. So think about who are influential recruiters in your field. So you want to think about who in your field you can connect with on LinkedIn, or that you can follow on Twitter. You want to think about what they're writing and what they're speaking about, right? Read what they're doing. So here are a list, if you're in the United States, of different recruiters that you can connect with. And these are recruiters that are in cybersecurity, that are either providing, at some point, I've seen them do podcasts, or they've written some articles, or they're active on promoting the different jobs that they have available for different companies. So what I would encourage you to do is that in your city, in your country, in your industry, let's say if it's healthcare, connect with 5 or 6 recruiters that you know that are providing good content and good value, so that you can start to follow them. And who knows, those could be the individuals that end up helping you to get your next role. Next. So again, the question is, who are you becoming? I've said that in a couple of slides here, because in the end, that's what this is about. We're more than just a cybersecurity leader. We're more than just a cybersecurity expert. We're human beings. We're mothers, we're fathers, we're sisters, we're daughters, we're friends. There's so much more to us than just what we do in the world. So I ask you though, what are you learning? What are you learning through this experience? And what skill sets though are you bringing into your toolbox as a cybersecurity expert? What classes are you taking and what experiences are you gaining? All of this and being a well-rounded person is something that I think definitely adds value to who you are and what you can bring into the workplace. So at the end of this experience, again, I ask you, who are you becoming and who do you want to be? Next. So I would say these are really the top 10 things that we've gone through. So let's just quickly recap it. Number one, believe in yourself. And you see, again, the camera icon is there. So if you're watching this, then you're watching this on YouTube, this is something you can take an image of. The other thing that I would say is, and I specifically also did this presentation in a way that if for whatever reason you could be hearing impaired, or if you are someone that for whatever reason you couldn't listen to the audio, that you were still able to get the content from these slides. So number one, believe in yourself. Number two, did you recently experience a job loss? Then if you did, follow up on some of those government initiatives. Follow up with your past employer, the employer that recently let you go. Find out what it is that they're doing, because odds are they may be in a position to apply for different initiatives that are taking place that can help them to bring their team back to work. Number three, what is your ideal role? Number four, what are growth industries that are in your country that you can absolutely start to look for jobs in? What is your timeline? Is it immediate or is it more 6 months? Are you selling your skill sets? How are you doing that? Number seven, be flexible. Number eight, your net worth is your net worth, right? A lot of times you will find your next job because of someone who is already in your network. Now, when that happens and you get that job, how much money did they just provide you, right? The amount of your salary and any bonuses and any connections that you will get as a result of that, and any experience you'll get as a result of that, and the number of years that you could end up working for that company. So think about that. How much money is that really? It's kind of invaluable when you think about a lot of the relationships that you can develop because of an introduction. Number nine, who are influential recruiters in your field? Number 10, who are you becoming? Next. So now this is your homework. This is your homework assignment, and it's a lot. So because we're serious about helping to get people back to work. And number one, that's number one. The number two thing is, if you're in cybersecurity, with all the job openings that we have throughout the world, we really shouldn't have a lot of people that are out of work now. So if you are a cybersecurity person that's out of work, I'm just committed to helping ensure that, through this presentation that you can, there are clear actionable things that you can do. So take notes on this, do this, and you can start today. Number one, review and update your resume. Share it with at least 2 people for feedback, okay? Next, update your interview skills. Read some articles, watch some videos, learn and look at the different ways companies are interviewing. And if you're interviewing for a role, try to find out more information about their interview process and different ways that they're interviewing. 3, connect with a past employer. Even if you've left the job 10 years ago, you never know where they are today and what they may need. Number 4, review cybersecurity jobs in growth industries. I've already listed them on a previous slide. Go back to those industries, look for jobs in those industries. Number 5, apply for jobs at all companies that are hiring. Now you may be going, okay, that's a lot. Like, why would I do something like that? There are so many companies hiring right now. So this is an area where follow me on LinkedIn, follow me on Twitter. And what I will do is I will start to post companies that are actively hiring now so that you can start to look at those companies and find out if they're hiring in technology and cybersecurity. But either way, they are hiring. Number 6, follow Asta, follow Vandana, follow Nathan, follow them now if you're not already doing that. Make sure, number 7, you reach out to 20 to 50 people and let them know you are looking for a job, okay? 20 to 50. Reach out to people and let them know you're looking. It's really as simple as that. We need more connection now than ever. So, and people are willing to help. People understand this. People are willing to help and share their network to be able to help people have income coming in at this challenging time. Number 8, follow 5 recruiters in your field and contact them to let them know that you need a job, okay? Be sure to do that. Number 9, join a cybersecurity industry organization if you haven't done so, or if you are part of an organization, get more active. Join the leadership team. Make sure that people there actually know who you are and connect and build relationships. Number 10, follow up with me and let me know how you're doing. I would love to know how this experience was for you, and I would love to see if you've been able to get a job in cybersecurity. Next. Just remember that this is the long game. This isn't something that you're doing once. This is something that you do over and over. You have to build consistency with it. So you reached out to 20 people and you didn't hear back. Reach out to another 20. You reached out to another 20. You didn't hear back. Reach out to another 20. You reached out to 20. You didn't hear back. Reach out to another 20. There's a lot of people hurting. Don't take it personal. Everyone's just doing the best they can, but you have to do the best that you can too. Next. Contact me. You can visit my website. There's my number. If you feel like you want to contact me, please feel free to do that. Follow me on LinkedIn and Twitter. So thank you. If you guys have any questions, I would be happy to answer them.
Thank you so much, Jessica. That was really, really wonderful. Let me check the chat if there are any questions for you. One second. I'm on the chat. So, can you find a cyber criminal from a Telegram? I knew few channels there who do fraud. It's not related.
Okay.
I think that's the only question that we have, Jessica. I am sure people are going to reach out to you. You've been amazing. And I know we go a long, long way.
Yeah.
We met in London first.
Yes. That was great. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I know. Yeah, it was great getting to know you and spending time with you there. So that was wonderful.
Yeah, likewise. And thank you so much for joining us today. It was really, really wonderful.
Yeah, very happy to do that. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you, Jessica.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh no, you are here, I guess.
Yeah, I'll stay on for the next presentation.
Yeah. Pragya is there.
Yes. Hi, Pragya.
Hi. I'm back.
Great. So everyone, we have up next Pragya. She works with a cybersecurity company, but she's going to talk about it. And she likes to explore XSS, which is cross-site scripting. That's what she told me, that like I would like to explore this. I want to do that. So over to you, Pragya.
Hello, everyone. So I'm Pragya and I'm working at Lucidius Technologies as a security analyst. I do web applications assessment and I've been in cybersecurity since close to 2 years, and I would be discussing one of my favorite topics today. So we'll start now.
Absolutely. Over to you. You can share your screen and let's get started. If there are any questions, I'm going to tell you in the end, not in the middle of session. So you can go ahead, go on.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so cross-site scripting, it comes at number 7 in the OWASP top 10 list of web application vulnerabilities 2017. So we'll be discussing XSS today. This would be the agenda. We'll first discuss the key concepts of XSS and then how does it work, the impact, types of excesses, how to prevent excesses, and then I'll give you some references. So let's start with the concepts. So excesses is a web-based attack with the aim of compromising the interactions between users and the web application. So users interact with applications via HTML, CSS. I mean, HTML, CSS is the interface of the application. We interact via JavaScript. So JavaScript is embedded in applications, and some small browser related or application related on interface functions are performed through JavaScript. So XSS is performed using JavaScript. Whatever the malicious content is delivered from the adversary, it is delivered to users via JavaScript. And in these attacks, the user is the victim. So how does it work? It works when a web application takes input from a user and does not verify it. Like in a web applications are interactive. So web applications have user inputs also. So if user input are not properly entered or are not checked by the application, then we can perform an XSS. We can, an adversary or an attacker or anyone can inject some malicious scripts which can hinder the working of the application. And the browser, whenever a browser sees a JavaScript, it just executes it, whether it is coming from external source or it is inline, it just executes it. That's the nature of websites and browsers. So impact of XSS: account hijacking can be performed through XSS. An adversary can send a link to a user, and it can through some scripts it can extract users' cookies or sensitive data. Yeah, so stealing sensitive information. So XSS is performed. It's not easily performed directly through the application. An attacker or someone can send a malicious link to a user. It involves phishing as well. So malicious user can send a link to a legitimate user to hinder or to just to gather some information or make some changes. So phishing attacks can be also be performed. Then capturing keystrokes. There are also some JavaScript scripts which can be used for making for capturing keystrokes of users. Website defacement. If suppose I'm an attacker and I have access to an application, and I can also enter some input, so I can inject some scripts and deface that website. I can even put a bad image or anything which will deface that website. Redirection can also be performed through JavaScripts. Like if I'm enter some payload and it would be redirected to some other website. There are three types of XSS. First one is reflected, where the malicious script is reflected off the web server, which means whenever a user enters a reflected XSS script, it goes to web server and then it comes back. It doesn't get stored there, but it comes back and it executes on the browser. Then second one is stored. Here malicious script is permanently stored on target server, which means whenever a user enters a script, it would go to the server, it would get saved there or on some database, and whenever another user tries to access that website, that script would be executed again. Then third one is DOM-based XSS. In DOM-based XSS, malicious script is executed as a result of modifying the DOM environment. Now, DOM environment is document object model, which means the elements which comprise our website, like HTML elements, CSS elements. So this involves basically modifying those elements. In this case, request doesn't go to the server. Everything happens on the browser only. So we can call these reflected and stored XSS as server-side scripting and DOM client-side. So in reflected XSS, so we'll go by them one by one. Reflected XSS is also known as non-persistent. Since it does not get stored on the server, it's non-persistent, and it's also called as type 2 XSS. So as I said before, in reflected accesses, malicious string is reflected off the server, and it's executed within the same request. Like a user enters a script and it is executed within the same request only. It won't be again executed in next request, or it can't be executed by another user. Only that user will be able to execute it. So this happens mainly because of social engineering mostly, or phishing. Like I send someone a link with some script, and user clicks on that, and user clicks on that link, and it is possible that his cookies are extracted, or some sensitive information is extracted, or maybe can be redirected to another website. So reflected accesses can be found in search bars. Like in some websites we have search bars, so we can try injecting scripts in those search bars, and in URLs also. So I'll show you an example. So there was a website I was working on. So it was a shopping website, and there was a search bar. So since I was trying to test it, so I just entered this simple payload in that, and what happened was this: I suddenly got google.com. Now this seems to be easier, like what would happen, it's just google.com, but an adversary can send a link to a user with some other malicious website. Here it's just google.com, but someone can send a link to some other website also, some phishing website or some credential stealing website, anything. So this was one example that I encountered. The next is stored accesses. Stored is means which the payload which gets stored on the web server. We don't know for how long the payload would be stored, but whenever a user would visit the website, not the same user, another user also, if he or she visits the website, there's a possibility, or this is definitely, that payload would be executed. So stored accesses can be found on blog sites. Like there are multiple blog sites which have some comment sections. We can enter our comments also, and these comments are basically stored on the server. So I can inject any script in the comment section, and whenever another user will load that page, that script can be executed. It can also be found on registration pages. Like if there's a website for registering, there are multiple websites for that, and instead of entering my legitimate details, I can add some scripts. I can enter scripts in my registration pages also. And it can also be found on social media platforms. Like we have numerous social media platforms, and the main thing here is, on social media platforms we can view each other profiles. So suppose I'm an adversary, I'll inject some script on my name or my details. So whenever another user will try to view my website, that script would be executed because it would be stored on the server. So that's how it can occur in social media websites also. So this is one example that I encountered. So there was a website where we had to create our accounts, and we could view each other users also. So here you can see I have highlighted in yellow, edit profile data. So there was this section of editing a profile data. So in username, I added alert document.domain script, which means that this script would be executed and would display me the domain of that document or the web page. So its result was this: whenever I went to the profile of 358, this was the user ID, there was a pop-up with the address. I had to hide it. So this was how stored access was performed, because this payload was stored on the server. This was not reflected. This was stored. So anyone who visited that profile would get this pop-up. Now the third one is DOM-based accesses. In DOM-based, the malicious data flow takes from source to the sink in the browser only. Now the source is a point where we can inject something, and sink is where the execution of that function can take place. So this whole process takes place in the browser only. It never goes to the server. So the page itself doesn't change. Only the client code contained in the page executes differently. And DOM can also be both reflected and stored. So these are a few sources which lead to DOM-based accesses. I mean, these we can find in our websites: location.search, document.url, window name, document referrer, and these are few things. Document.write, write in, DOM element, inner HTML, outer HTML, eval. Okay, so here's an example. Let's see. Can everyone see my screen here? Okay, so we'll try to execute DOM accesses here. So this is a simple small website, and let's see what's happening here. Image 1, image 2. You can see where this number is changing, and consequently this image heading is changing. So image 3, it's 3, it's 42.
Pragya, we can only see the presentation, not the test that you're trying to do.
Okay,
so which
okay,
means you have to share your whole screen.
Okay. Is it visible now?
Yes, it's visible.
Yes.
Okay, so this is a website. We'll be trying DOM accesses here. So let's see what's happening here. This is image 1. So I can see there's a change in number here in URL. Image 2, here it is 2. Image 3, it is 3. So I can't see any user input or any box where I can enter any payload. So let's try and check the source code of it. We'll look for some source where we can inject our payload. So from the sources we just discussed, I think I see a source. Window.location. This is, so num is the one, num is this number in the URL which is changing. So this can act as our source. So the code here, the HTML here, image source, static level 3 cloud plus num. So num is being changed here. So what we can do is we can try injecting a payload here. So for that, we can close this apostrophe first from here. Like this is my number. I'll close my apostrophe here, which would close this src attribute here, and then I'll enter my payload. Yeah, so we have successfully done this, and this is a reflected DOM accesses. I also mentioned this earlier that DOM can be both reflected and stored. So this is reflected DOM, and this way we have performed this DOM accesses. Is my screen, my presentation visible again?
No, switch it again to the screen.
Okay, now?
Yeah.
Great. So there's another kind of accesses that I read about a few days ago. It's been around for some time, but I came to know of it recently. This is mutation-based accesses. So in mutation-based accesses, the content inside the inner HTML property is mutated by the browser. So there is a finding that browser also performs some mutations. So whenever it encounters something in inner HTML value, it mutates it differently. It behaves with it differently. And there are some filters implemented in browsers to prevent cross-site scripting. So during mutation, what happens is if a browser encounters an input and it feels it is unsafe, it sanitizes it to convert it to a safe HTML. But what sometimes happens is there is an input which is seemingly safe, but due to browser's mutations, it becomes unsafe. It leads to the execution. So I'll show you an example for this. I have here, suppose this is my payload listing ID equal to X, and LT image SRC1 on alert1 listing. So this is a quite safe, I would like to say, safe script. There's nothing wrong with it. I can show you here. This is the same one, and if I execute it, nothing would happen. But what happens is, if I put it inside get element by ID, this is a DOM element. So if I enter it inside document or get element by ID, it would behave differently in inner HTML. So let's try doing that. So here we executed our payload, and it was rendered as image src on error equal to alert1, which was earlier it was this, and which was safe, and now it converted to an unsafe output. So that is why mutations can be performed. So now we'll discuss how we can prevent these XSS attacks. First one would be validation. So validation refers to filtering of user input. So validations are performed on the input which is entered by the user and not the output. So whenever a user enters an input, the application checks whether it is whether there are some elements which are whitelisted or blacklisted, and then it decides whether it has to be rejected or sanitized. So these are some instances. For example, if a user is submitting a URL in an input box, so application can check whether it starts with HTTP, HTTPS instead of JavaScript, because JavaScript colon can indicates that there is a script, JavaScript, which malicious script. So an application can check that. And if a user is inputting, if there is a numeric field where numeric values have to be entered, so it should be checked whether it is actually a numeric and integer values entered or not. Then the application can whitelist some values, which whitelisting means specifying only those values which we want to allow. So then input can be validated for that also, for whitelisted values. Then the second one is encoding. Encoding is converting an unsafe input to a sanitized input. So these are some examples. So in HTML context, the less than is converted to and LT semicolon, greater than converted to and GT semicolon, and JavaScript similarly we have Unicode escaped characters. So encoding is performed on the output data. Suppose a user has entered some input, some malicious input, and when it is output, then the encoding is performed. So this is the encoding instance. Suppose I have this script alert1 script, and it is converted to, in HTML encoding, it is converted like this. In URL, it is converted this, and in JavaScript like this. Then third, we have content security policy. So this is a browser side mechanism which can be used to create source whitelist for all the resources that can be accessed by a web application like JavaScript, CSS images. Content security policy is mentioned in the response header of HTTP request. So we'll see the header in the so we'll see this entity in the response header of an application, and it lets us control whether we want to include scripts from a certain website or not, or what all we can include. So this is an example of a response header, content security policy, default src self, script src self. It means that default resources would be loaded from self. Self means that particular website only, and script src means all the scripts or JavaScript can be loaded from that website only. Self means only that website. Now another instance is default src against self. Image src means all the images which can be loaded. Star means everywhere, that images can be loaded from everywhere. Then we have media, SRC, which includes audio and video. So in front of video, media, I have specified audio.com and video.com, which means media can be accessed from audio.com and video.com only. Then I have script src self and site.domain.com, which means JavaScript would be loaded from that website only, plus any website named site.domain.com. Like XSS auditor, etc. There are multiple. Then WAF can also be used. IPS, IDS can be used, and HTTP only attribute of session cookies. Now this means that whenever a session is created, session cookies have multiple flags with them. So HTTP only flag is one of those flags. HTTP only flag means that whatever the value of cookies would be, it won't be accessed by JavaScript. HTTP only means not be accessed by JavaScript, only by HTTP. So in this way, the XSS attacks aiming to gather some users' cookies can be mitigated. Now, frameworks specific XSS filter protections. There are some framework specific filter protections such as ASP has some of it, then PHP has some filter protections. Now there is another response header, XSS protection 1 mode equal to block. This is the browser mechanism. This is the browser's mechanism for stopping the XSS attacks. Whenever this is enabled, the XSS attacks can be mitigated, but it is not 100% foolproof. It can also be bypassed. XSS protection 1 means that it is enabled, and 0 means it is disabled. Mode equal to block means whenever a request comes which has some malicious data, so it won't be processed. It would the processing would be halted and page would not be loaded. So this is an example that I encountered in one of my applications. I entered a malicious script here, script alert 1 script, and the exception details showed me system web HTTP request validation exception. So here, framework specific XSS filter protection, that is for ASP, is applied. This is an ASP application, and ASP has this request validation which performs XSS validations. So this ASP framework request validation, this stopped my malicious script from executing. This was the script and this is the error. But it can be bypassed by some ways. And these are some references. These are some wonderful references which for further reading. And Portswigger has some amazing labs for cross-site scripting. These are really good labs. I mean, if you want to learn and if you want to practice everything or different kinds of cases, this is the link which you should go for, definitely. And these OWASP, these are the official sites. These are also very good. This is the cheat sheet series for XSS. Here you can find a number of payloads, and also you can find payloads for bypassing XSS in some places. This is also OWASP, and this is a research paper about mutation-based XSS. This is a really good paper if you want to read more about mutation-based XSS. So that's all from my side about XSS. And if there are any questions, I would be happy to answer.
Pragya on the chat,
Okay.
question. Vandana is there,
Go
I
ahead.
guess. Yeah. No.
Go ahead, Asta. Asta, go ahead.
Yeah, there is a question for you. Can XSS be false positive?
No, XSS can't be false positive because you can see the result actually here. I mean, XSS we usually perform manually, and it cannot be false positive because if you are able to extract something, suppose I've entered a payload for getting cookies. If I'm getting cookies, it won't be false positive. It is definitely XSS in that case.
So, Pragya, just to add on, it can be false positive, but if it's reported by the tool. Sometimes,
Yeah,
sometimes the escaping is there; it's not able to catch, so it can be false positive. But yes, if you are able to reflect it, or even if you are able to extract the data, then that means it's an XSS. You're able to execute the third-party scripts on your website or on
yeah,
any
yeah.
of the websites.
Yes, yes, yes. If an automated tool is used, we cannot always trust that. I mean, we can trust that, but still we prefer manually. And if you're manually able to get something, then it is definitely excessive.
Great. So we are on top of the hour. Let's go, everyone, together. So who all we have on the call? We have Astha, we have Rupika, we have Arti. Let's go turn on the camera. Great.
And Rupika and Aarti are not there. They are,
Yeah,
yeah, Rupika counts.
great. So thank you so much, Jessica, Pragya, for joining us today. And we would love to have you on the future sessions as well.
Okay.
It was
Sure.
great to have you on the session,
Great to be
especially
here.
all of you.
Yes, yeah.
It would be a pleasure.
Yeah.
Great. So, thank you so much, everyone. We are going off